Hi, welcome back to Thirst Time. Been a little while since I've dropped a video. I think it's better that I just follow what inspires me at the time. I've also had some time to do some creative projects and getting familiarized with music production as well. So I've just started playing around with that. I have dropped a short music video. It's quite interesting. It's not the genre that I expected I would produce because it's not the genre that I really listen to. It's almost I guess like an electro goth Robotron genre that I have produced, and I'm going to embrace that style. But yeah, in today's video, there's something that I've been wanting to talk about. It's an idea I've had, and sometimes you have ideas, but you can't always find the terminology to describe things, and sometimes you'll hear someone else use terminology and it's like, that's exactly what it is. And now I feel with these group of words, I can understand the world better and perhaps explain myself better to others. Would be great if I had a notepad or a good memory, because then I could record them all down and be much more eloquent in my life. But anyway, this is something that I have not done any research for. This is not something that I'm claiming to be the inventor of. I'm sure there's a lot of literature and dialogue using different, perhaps the same terminology out there. I'm calling this social thinking, social thought, and individuals who are social thinkers. And I guess I've come to know about this through trying to class people, and then seeing it in many different people and in everyone to varying degrees. Yeah, this video is about social thinking. What is a social thinker, and why, in my opinion, we should avoid social thinking and avoid social thinkers. Not to say that they are not useful, but I believe that their uses are not really worthwhile in the grand scheme of things. A social thinker is the sort of person who is going to maybe one-on-one is going to think what you think and going to go along with your flow. And why this can be nice is because it validates you. It makes you feel like you're smart, that you're right, that you're on the right track. It makes you feel good, and it builds a connection when you are around a social thinker who's validating you. You think it, therefore they think like you. Why, for example, is this dangerous? Is because they could be the friend that could have the ability to show you another way. They could be the friend that might not personally agree with the choices that you're making, but they're so shut off from that thought because they are social thinkers that without even any malicious intent to lead you down a dark path, they'll just sit and champ you on and encourage you on while you're making big mistakes in your life that they might never make for themselves. Why do they do that? It's because they just want to go along with you. They're not really thinking, they don't really have much of a personality, they've shut that side off of their brain. For whatever reason or another, upbringing, fear, could be malice, but I really don't think it is. So that's like a social thinker in a one-on-one level. I guess in a group level, in smaller groups, this is how bullying will occur. You've got one person deciding to do something very different, which is be the bully, and then you've got the majority of people, the social thinkers, on looking. No one else is standing up against it. The bully's taking the power, he's driving the dialogue, he's driving the ideas, and everyone's just going along with it, potentially laughing, cheering him on because there's no one to stand up to it. Yeah, it's one of those things that in the case of a bully, it's a terrible thing. A lot of bad things can happen. But I guess in the same way, it can be a good thing when someone is helpful and doing great. And then I just guess, more or less in everyday life, social thinkers will just go along with what they've heard. They're very happy to have their brains shut off, to not really have critical thought. And they're like, well, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm hearing this, everyone's saying this, therefore it's that. And they're the sorts of persons where it's like, when the non-social thinker, whether it be the critical thinker or the contrarian, the anarchist, the rule breaker, the controversial ones, whoever, either or a combination of all those things, the dissident, the heretic, when they're the ones that will say potentially, hey, no, this is crazy, or I disagree, or here's another way, whatever the situation is, the social thinkers, they know that they're with society and they've shut off their brain and they don't think of what you're thinking. They're just like, this is incongruent with the status quo, delete forever. They're just that sort of person, and they'll never be like that to your face, but in a group they're nowhere to be seen. Most people are social thinkers, and it just gets me thinking at just how dangerous that is, because, you know, provided that there is a status quo and an official tone and a climate of censorship, of punishment for going against the rules, which you can find in really any society, yeah, it keeps us enchained to the status quo, which can, you know, be on a sliding degree of harm. I don't think the status quo is ever great. I mean, there's certain status quos that are better than others nowadays versus the past, but, you know, creativity, individuality, freedom, embrace of change, not volatility but flexibility, all of those things we need in a society, because that's how we can evolve and grow. A status quo will essentially hold us back. And I think it's important to realize is that most people are social thinkers, and what somebody says to you when they're just one-on-one is not necessarily going to be what they say when someone else is around, especially if it's a larger group. And those are the things you've got to watch out for. There are definitely people that are going to have the courage to say what they think to you and maybe stand up for themselves in the group, or potentially abstain and not be a liar. I guess there's, yeah, two different kettles of fish. I don't really have a name for the other thinker. Is it the antisocial thinker? I'm not too sure, but it just got me, you know, it took me a while in my life where people I was close around, I realized that a lot of people that I was very close around, and maybe I really loved the social thinker because they made me feel validated and normal when I'm essentially going to be a bit of a contrarian. Yeah, it just made me realize that those people are fake, and those people are going through life blind. They're not really having their own thoughts. If you're a creative thinker, let's say, or an antisocial thinker, and you think differently, the social thinker might love you as a friend because you're their break and their outlet, but they're never really going to lead that life or lead that mindset themselves. So, yeah, just something to think about. I guess you could all find social thinkers easily in the workplace. There's so much pressure to follow, and just imagine if we were all social thinkers and just thinking what everybody else wants us to think, which is very easy to find in places like social media where Big Brother's watching and everybody's watching you. Yeah, it's just a factor to think, you know, like it's a very huge controlling mechanism in society. Yeah, it can be used for any means, good or bad. It's something to ponder on and to reflect on, and I guess to maybe think, how can I be that ripple in the still water to get some movement, break the break the static nature of thought, break the static nature of hive mind. I think it's very important, because from that we see what's, you know, beneath the surface, not the reflection of the clouds. When we break the ripple in the water and it shakes, we might be able to see what lurks beneath. Maybe you'll find some food, some nourishment. So yeah, that's what this video is about. Just a thought I've been having for quite some time. Yeah. And thanks for watching, and who knows what'll be next, but I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.